I'm here making this video that I've been wanting to make for a very long time, but somehow fear got into the way between me and this piece of message that I want to communicate with you. Just to open everything up, I'm here to warn you that this video I'm probably going to get a little emotional and a little ranty in this video because this is something that I truly care about. This is something that's in the backbone. This is something that's foundational to how I approach all of my learning. This is something that really deeply resonates with me, and this is something that I want to share with you people. So don't mind me if I get a little ranty, if I get a little antsy and get a little pissy in this video. So I'm here really to tell you that I don't care about my grades. I don't care about my grades at all. No, at all. Immediately people start to ask me questions such as, well, if you don't care about your grades, who the hell are you to come on here to preach about learning? If you're not a great learner yourself, how are you here talking about topics of learning? Right? If you don't care about your grades, why are you here reading books? If you don't care about your grades, why are you making YouTube videos? If you don't care about your grades, why do you have the credentials to talk about the topics that you talk about? And ultimately, if you don't care about your grades, why the hell are you working so hard? It is as if you guys notice that there's a deep assumption going on within all of those questions. There's a deep, unquestioned, unbiased assumption within each one of those questions. It is as if I do what I do solely because I just care about some mark on paper. It is as if all my motivations are directed towards earning that mark on the paper. It is as if all of my motivations towards learning, towards exploring what life is, and towards learning everything that I need to learn about life. I need to learn literature. I need to learn philosophy. I need to learn physics. I need to learn chemistry. I need to learn humanities. I need to learn anything that you throw at me. I need to learn it because my life here on earth is finite. And I want to make the effort to understand every aspect of this universe. It's really a creation of marvel. It's really a creation of divine beauty. And if you are so hooked up in the academic system and grades is all you care about, think of how much stuff you're missing out. Instead of marveling at the beauty of organic chemistry, marveling at the diagrams of how these things are constructed and how they interact together and to influence human biology and how human biology tends to create living, breathing organisms and how these organisms can group together to form an entire complex social structure and how that structure goes on to influence history, instead of seeing the beauty and interconnections of all of these details that is the universe itself, you're worrying about some mark on paper. You're worrying about your next exam. You're worrying about everything. Studying is stressful. And then learning about stuff is stressful. As if all you really care about is just that mark on a paper. True knowledge and true commitment and true purpose, they don't at all come from something shallow as grades. They don't come from a mark on a paper. They don't come from standardized SAT. True interest and true marvel at the universe and true science are derived not out of somebody who's trying to seek a lot of fame, seek a lot of recognition from his academic peers, nor is it from some straight-A student who only cared about their grades. The greatest straight-A students, the greatest scientists in history, they didn't care about the outcome. They cared only about understanding what the heck it is that's actually around them. They're actively mesmerized. They're actively bedazzled by all it is that the universe really is, and they want to understand it in whichever field they want to choose. And really, true knowledge and true learning should make you feel very small. If you marvel at the universe at night, you look at the stars, and you wonder what could be out there in the universe. Is there another universe out there? And then you take a look at studies into black holes, into string theory, into UFOs and aliens. You take a look at these very advanced frontier research, and you take a look at some of these findings, and you even just learn a little bit about science. learn a little bit about the solar system, learn a little bit about chemistry, learn a little bit about biology, you should get the sense that you and your grades on the cosmological scale, it's tiny, it's peanuts compared to the miraculous structure that God had built for us. Although I'm not religious, but I deeply believe in a God. This God is the universe itself, and I am a part of this universe, and it is my job to understand the universe. So true knowledge and true commitment should make you feel small. And then when you feel very small, do you have the true authentic drive to understand all it is about life, to understand about what is this? What is everything around me? It's so strange. How does language work? Why are we communicating through language now? Why is it that people can write stuff in books and you can comprehend that stuff? Where does the nature of natural language acquisition comes in? How could anybody ever comprehend a thing called language? Or you ask another question, why do water look like the way it does? Why does it behaving that way? Why is it the case that when you put water in a more advanced system, it can form in itself an entire ecosystem based on just the simple water, H2O structure by itself? Or if you want to look into history, how is it that people could derive theorems and philosophies that could go on to influence generations? And how is it that some of our cultural paradigms are being shifted, and how some of the paradigms have been broken down and reconstructed? And why do we think the way that we do right now? If you investigate even just a little bit of this stuff, you should get a sense that everything's interconnected. Everything is beautiful. Everything's miraculous, the way that it all fit together. So when people ask me, if you don't care about your grades, why the hell are you learning? That to me is a preposterous question. I don't care about my grades not because now I get to be some crazy wacko kid who does no work. I don't care about my grades precisely because it is a way for me to move forward. It's a way for me to grow out of my current paradigm. It is a way for me to further and deepen my learning. Schools don't give you enough time to absorb all the information, to marvel at it. They pile tests upon tests, SATs upon SATs upon you, so you don't have any time to marvel at the beauty. You don't have the time to absorb all the nature that studying nature has to offer. And your ego, your sense of self-importance are really boosted by all these grade chasing. The greatest knowledge should make you feel small, not big. We're approaching this problem ass backwards. Instead of gaining knowledge and making us feel smaller so we can appreciate and become happier and become more content in this universe and then understand every part of it, we're worrying about our own self-importance. We're worrying about some mark on the paper. We're worrying about our own self-biases. We're worried about, am I going to publish something in Nature next year? Am I going to gain a publication for Nature? We're worrying about this petty stuff. Well, there's a whole new universe out there for you to explore. I've been going through Leonardo da Vinci's biography. I started today, and about 30 pages in, I can already sense that there's a huge disconnect between the way that we learn stuff now versus the way that we learn about stuff before. People back in the day, they actually understood what it means to learn. They didn't learn just for some silly, shallow purposes of aggrandizing one's ego. They learned because they truly want to understand the universe. A lot of people complain about, oh, math is so hard, I don't want to do math. All that kind of stuff, but they were missing out on some point. This point right here, they're missing out on it, which is that here's a miraculous structure. And then what school does is that they mechanicalize all these structures and they fit you into pigeonholes and categories, and they give you tests, they give you exams, and they give you all these assessments, which drives you completely away from the center, from the integral purpose of learning itself. That's what they've done. Back in Florence, people had more wood sculptors and poets than they had butchers. People had more poets and wood carvers than they had butchers. But nowadays, people are so stuck on a functionality People are like so concerned about their own reputation. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a biomechanical engineer. I want to be something. Well, if you're driven by authentic passion, go pursue those things. But don't pursue it just because it offers you great pay. Don't pursue it just because there's some ancillary stuff to be gained. Learn like you care about it. You're offered a great education. Learn like you care about it. Not for some supercilious reasons. Not for some ancillary benefits. Not for some amazing grades. Marvel at the universe. Learn like you care about it. With the abundance of information that we have right now, there's no excuse for not being a Renaissance man. There's not an excuse for you not to investigate into nature. There's not an excuse that you can make that somehow the universe, I have no interest in the universe. Well, you're a part of it. You're a little part of it. And you think your daily matters and your daily depression and you think your little problems are, what, on a grander scale than the universe? Really, you should be aiming to become a humanist. Do you want your grades or do you want to be a human? Do you want to just chase some ancillary stuff that you care about out there, or do you care about being a true human? For me, being a human is not about self-importance. For me, being a human is not about somehow you get to author some amazing books and become this celebrity philosopher or celebrity scientist. For me, being a humanist is all about exploring life. Exploring life in itself is a human endeavor. Some of the greatest scientists, they weren't driven by grades. They weren't driven by shallow stuff. They weren't driven by conforming to a system. They were driven by truly wanting to understand the universe. And that is my message for you. Do you want to be a human? Or do you want your grades? Do you want to conform to something that you don't even believe in? Or do you want to fit yourself into the universe that is all interconnected and you as a part of it? Take your pick, and that is my message. I'll see you guys next time.